go? Yes, which way?
Since I'm pointed that way, I guess I'll go down.
She chose down. She chose down.
Was that wrong?
Too late now.
Wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer. And then you'll notice you've got their strict attention.
Watching The Drain with your host, the Australian alien, KidCrusher. We all float down here.
Motherfucker! Alright, here we are. What fucking holiday is it again? Ladies and gentlemen, it's meant to be a Christmas video for me saying Merry Christmas. Alright, what fuckwits in society do every year around this time of year is give each other little fucking things and wrapped in plastic and... This is beer! You fucking drink it, you shut the fuck up!
Christmas time, where the fuck are we at? I'm a Grinch, don't pinch, December 25th, I'm a Grinch, don't.
Ho ho ho, merry motherfucking shitmas, everybody, it's 2020, the shitstorm, and we are almost out of this motherfucker. Jump in the DeLorean and let's fast forward a couple days. I'm sorry this is a little late past Christmas, but I took a little time off from working on anything KidCrusher Caveman related mid-December because tacos, that's why. But yeah, anyway, I got one hell of a storm to produce tonight with you guys. Here I'm representing Blockbuster. It was actually my first job way back in the day. A lot of people didn't know this. That was actually my main passion back when video stores were actually a thing with videotapes. But yeah, I used to be full-time working at Blockbuster Video. I was the main guy. I was the guy stealing all the posters when they were done with them and the cutouts. Actually, like I was going to the video store so much that they gave me a job by the time I was old enough to work. I was just there every freaking day. Like literally, this is how I got the job. They changed management, so the time I was old enough to work, all these new people didn't know who the fuck I was, but I kept showing up, right? And the manager came up and he's like, "Why are you in here? Like, what are you doing?" And like, I'm not like sitting here like trying to rent a movie. I'm like organizing the wrestling section because I'm like, this shit is just fucked. Like the whole store is a mess and it should be right. Like that's how my kind of room is it's a mess, but it's an organized mess. That's what I like to call this man cave. So in the end, he like kind of smiled because I said like this whole store should be organized like this. And he gave me a trial and didn't let me go because I ended up being the only person at Blockbuster actually could recommend a movie. Because everyone else there was just there for payment. I'm there for the posters and the free rentals. Fuck, I'd go back. I'd go back to those days. I'd give up streaming platforms to go back to renting videos. I've got a small VHS collection, Laserdisc collection, and I collect Blu-rays. I used to collect DVDs. I still got them all in storage, but I only really, I don't watch VHS or Laserdisc. I only watch my Blu-rays, and recently been collecting 4Ks, although like I haven't got a 4K player because I've been waiting for the PS5, but everybody hasn't got a PS5 because the scalpers got those PS5s. Don't give in to that shit. Just wait. Let those motherfuckers sit there with their bank accounts fucking empty. Anyway, for Christmas, I got some 4K. This just hit 4K, and I just had to grab it straight away. Shout out to my partner for grabbing this Blade on 4K for the first time. It just came out just in time for Christmas. Had to grab that. And this one came out in October, but I got it for Christmas, 4K. I got the digital version of 4K as well. Still haven't been able to watch any of this yet, but I'm uberly good geeked for it. I got so many different versions of Back to the Future, and I'll collect them all. If I love a movie, I'm going to collect every fucking version and format that there is. I've got the DVD, I've got the VHS, several VHS copies, several Blu-ray copies, because they're just different special editions with different packaging. Oh my fucking god, I'm possessed! And the fact that like I'm collecting all these like old shit, like videotapes and shit. That cutout, by the way, I just got recently. It's original. It was actually packaged, sealed from the 90s. It's like opening a vault from the 90s. I had to set it all up. And it's that old, and the videotapes, my room is starting to smell like an op shop, you know, like mothballs and shit. But I love this place. It makes me feel nostalgic and home, and that's what I love about it. Oh, unless you're listening to The Drain, by the way, welcome to The Drain episode 4. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Episode 4 tonight, we got a show where I'm just going to be talking about movies. That's why I'm representing Blockbuster. We're going to be talking about KidCrusher music videos as well, because I'm bringing on my special guest, Daniel Armstrong from Strongman Pictures, who does produce and direct to all of the KidCrusher music videos from Meet the Monsters forward. He makes all the magic, and I gotta give him mad credit because like KidCrusher has shined and gone so far, definitely because of him as well, like half and half. You know, the performance and the quality of side of things. So mad love to Daniel Armstrong, showing some love. He also does movies. We're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into some behind the scenes of KidCrusher and lots of interesting stories. We got some. We actually did this for Patreon a while ago, so we're repeating this, but it's going to be fun. Anyway, also next month, Australia Day, January, I'm bringing on a special edition of The Drain, Backyard Wrestling Australia. So some people know this. Not everyone knows this. I used to be a backyard wrestler between about, I'd say 2001 to 2005. As soon as I finished wrestling, I went straight into music. I was doing music before wrestling, but I gave it up for a little bit and did wrestling full time. Now, this was something I created, and I trained wrestlers and etc. Anyway, next month on the Australia Day edition, we're getting drunk, so get yourself some beer and watch live with us. We're going to be going through a couple of wrestling matches from our DVD, the Death documentary. We're going to be commentating, doing some commentary. Oh, the special guest, I'm going to reveal it right now, is none other than one of the most badasses of the backyard of the XBA, Extreme Backyard Wrestling Assault. Backyard Assault. Extreme Backyard Assault. I haven't said it in a long time, my bad. BITCH. Boy, is this hopeless bitch is going to be my special guest next month on The Drain Australia Day edition, and we're going to be reviewing probably 4 matches, but only like highlight of the matches. We're not doing the full matches, and we're also going to be having a first in 5 years, since 5 years, hasn't been defended in longer. Shit, when was the last match? 2005. 15 years, is that right? 15 years ago, that belt right there. I know it's a WCW belt, but that's sentimental to me because I love WCW. WCW got me into wrestling. WCW also introduced me to Insane Clown Posse. But I bought this and we used it in my backyard wrestling group, and that's the actual one we defended. It's broken. It's been bolted on. Some of the parts are broken off and scratched. So that right there is getting defended for the first time in 15 years. Hasn't been defended. The title, there wasn't really a big finale. It just kind of stopped because the Federation was kind of moving from one place to the other. We were building up to have a return, and then I just kind of went, I'm doing music at the moment. It's just kicking ass. I mean, KidCrusher just took off all of a sudden. Just like overnight, it was boom. I just kind of took a breather, did some music for fun, and holy shit, it exploded. It's still exploding. I'm fucking grateful for that. So I took some time off wrestling, and it seemed like everyone needed some time off wrestling. And 2012 we tried to do a reunion, but I think we all kind of lost interest in that as well. But now 2020, we're bringing back a highlight edition, which is also on the Drain. The Backyard Wrestling edition on the Drain, Australia Day edition, is going to be like a warm-up, because I'm looking at bringing back, opening up, so to say, the vault of all of these videotapes that I filmed from 2001 to 2005. I'm not going to say all of them, just like highlight matches, and I'll probably bring in different special guests here or there, but if Bitch is down for it, I'm going to bring Bitch down for every fucking commentary. We're going to have some fun with it next month, so you gotta join us on Australia Day, get drunk, and watch some old wrestling tapes. VHS quality, by the way, so it's going to be rented from Blockbuster. By the way, some of our tapes were actually rented out of Blockbuster because I worked there. I was able to get my tapes in store, which is fucking awesome. The Death documentary you can get now on Victim Gear on DVD if you want to. It is also streaming on my YouTube channel. Here you can find it. It's age restricted though, because it's violent as shit, so beware. It's not, I wouldn't call us all professional or anything, but we did stuff. More like Jackass in the backyard rather than professional wrestling is what I would say. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about wrestling because that's next month, and we're going to be talking a lot of shit about that. So tonight, Daniel Armstrong, we're going to talk about movies and KidCrusher. We're going to talk about Caveman. I got some stuff to talk about that, so we're going to take a little break, and I'm going to show you a couple clips that are some old clips that are about me making music for some of these movies, and then we're going to talk about some KidCrusher and Caveman. So stay tuned to the motherfucking word.
We'll be right back. Don't forget the flush.
Have you ever bought or rented a videotape that wasn't quite right? Now,
Beelzebub's movie of the month.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Beelzebub with another movie recommendation. It's that festive time of year again where we all gather around for a classic, the 80s, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I never skip on this one every Christmas time. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you do so. I mean, it's Chevy Chase at Christmas time, so you know what that means. Anything that can possibly go wrong does. So I highly recommend you slip this one in. I know you're going to have a whole bunch of other classics to put on, but don't sleep on this one. Trust me, you will regret it if you miss out on this 80s classic.
Beelzebub's movie of the month.
Anyway, let's stop playing around and get back to business. Alright, let me take you to the new cave, but remember, as I said, I've just moved into this place, so everything's still under construction, so it's still very half done. Oh shit, the cave is up there? Stairs. I forgot what we were doing. So let's get started on some wicked shit. So basically right now what I'm going to do is explain my responsibility provided behind the film of For Parts Unknown. I'm not only doing the music which goes behind several scenes of dramatic things, of cinematic sounds, background noises, ambiences. I'm also doing sound effects which people get punched and people just get blood splatting and just a lot of stuff, and I've also hidden some KidCrusher Easter eggs all over the film. I want to go into deep depth of as much details as I can of what I'm doing, but I also don't want to spoil the film, so I'm going to leave it as tiny but deep, so a little bit of a tip of the dick into the pussy. Okay, so right here in the film, we've got Charlie, the main actor, which is about to enter the ring into what she thinks is a normal wrestling match, but then turns into a zombie wrestler called the Butcher. Metal must be involved in this situation. Let me get my guitar. I don't want to slowly put this video together by showing you the progress of it all, so I'm going to speed this up to the final product, which I have compiled during this break. We've got to record the guitars, so let's fast forward and get this shit done. So I don't want to spoil too much more about what I'm doing with this movie, but I thought I should put it inside of not only the music but the cinematic effects I've been doing to the film. So I'm about to show you a scene where two of the main actors encounter a nanobot zombie, and I'm going to make a little ting 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 on the sound effects of the violence. So bottom line, I hope you all check out the From Parts Unknown movie, which will be hitting cinemas in Australia on January 10th, but then we'll be hitting DVD not long after. This is the first cinematic score I've ever done, so it's very exciting, and it's took me a long time to study on how to do this. From Parts Unknown, Fight Like a Girl is on Facebook. Make sure to like the page and support the film's upcoming release. I hope you all enjoy the film as well as the music. Otherwise, I've failed and you will never call me Elfman like again. But anyway, I had a great time working on this project, and I got more to come, so stay tuned, motherfucker.
Buffalo Daddy was the only family she ever had. She's got us now, Doug. We're her family.
But this is real. This is all real. Mustafang, you have to believe.
the airport in Adelaide. It's very fancy, isn't it? Due to scheduling conflicts, I'm now leaving the day of my music video shoot. It starts at 11 a.m. It was meant to be a 10 a.m. one, but we had to push it because I am flying in now on a 7:30 a.m. flight to Melbourne, which is an hour and a half flight. So I land in Melbourne and we're going straight to the shoot. I didn't get no sleep last night, barely. About 3 hours sleep, so it's gonna be fun and interesting. But I promise I'll take you guys along for the ride, so I'll see you when we get there. That's him planning things. Say what's up, Patreons. Backstage pass.
What's up? I'm just about to set up a stand and put a light on it.
We should watch him in slow motion. Yeah?
I probably will smash a rough through this together tonight if I don't fall asleep.
It looks like a storm barn.
Yeah, it's awesome. See, that's why I like working with Romy. He's like, the wheel should be on the curtain. I'm like, what? He's like, no, it should be. Trust me. I'm like, okay.
Welcome back to the Drain. Holy shit, that was some fun. What did we look at? That talk shit video. That's old. That was funny looking back at that. That was a studio. I just moved into a house in 2014, and I didn't have anything in there, but I was producing that movie at the same time, so that was crazy. I forgot to talk about this before. Like, anyone knows I'm a big Fast and Furious fan, and this is the Showbag that came out. We have like a show carnival once a year, but because of COVID, they put the Showbag in shopping centers because they didn't do a show. I just want to do a small review on how fucking shit this is. Like, a school bag for kids, I get it. Yeah, all right. I don't know why I grabbed it. It was on clearance. There's one thing in here I wanted, one thing, but the rest, like, you ride, you fight is the quote on the wallet. What the fuck? I don't even know what the shit this is. Just plastic. Now, sunglasses. Like, who the fuck in Fast and Furious? Just name one person besides that girl back there. Who the fuck wears glasses? They can't be hers. It can't be her glasses. Is this her glasses? I don't know. I was having this argument with my partner that there's Van Diesel never wears sunglasses. Neither does Paul Walker in the franchise. A fucking bouncy ball. What's that meant to be? But this is the holy grail. The only thing I wanted was a NOS bottle, drink bottle, with Fast and Furious. The only reason I wanted that, but whoever designed the Showbag, you done fucked up. Like, you done fucked up so bad. Like, what the fuck is that? But thanks for the groovy sunglasses that I'm never gonna wear. I wish for me not to have bought that Showbag. I know why I did. I don't know why I did. Anyway, so we're going to do a quick little update on Caveman and KidCrusher, and then we're going to dive in the interview with Daniel Armstrong and talk some movies. So, those that don't know, I am working on a KidCrusher mixtape. I started working on it. In, I don't know when, what date. I'm going to put a date on it. But I'm basically entering phase 3, and what I would say phase 3 is basically recording. I'm working on the second half of the album in January. The first half is done beat-wise. There's three different producers at the moment. One producer did the first half, and that was like kind of design the album. It's really rap orientated with a little bit of metal in it. But I produced a couple tracks on there. And then I'm getting the producer from Distorted Dimension to do a couple of metal tracks at the end. There's some cover songs on there as well. I'm pretty excited about. And also, 2 Grinch singles will be featuring on this mixtape. Grinch is back in 2021. I don't know when I'm releasing it. Don't ask me. Don't ask me when I'm coming to America. I don't fucking know. At this point, it's really up to a promoter. Because I had a manager and we got so far. But in the end, it didn't even matter. Tried so hard and got so far. But yeah, anyway. I'm going to be looking at doing an online concert. I was going to do it for Christmas as the Grinch, but COVID kind of re-happened here, so we had to cancel the venue and everything. I could do something here, like, but that's what my brain thinks of that idea. But possibly. I did this screaming in a padded room thing not too long ago. I recorded that and uploaded it. People seem to like that, so maybe I'll think about it. I'm still thinking about it. I just don't want to do something whack in this room. It doesn't seem right. Anyway. Another spoiler, Rectal Birth, my other side project band. We're looking at doing something, bringing that alive somehow. News on that soon. Another perk, my YouTube channel has hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for doing that. It seems like I get a lot of views, but people forget to subscribe. So if you're watching this and not subscribing, please hit subscribe, because there's so much shit I'm going to put on this channel, and I'm more active on this channel than I am anywhere else, because Facebook is sinking, Instagram's sinking, all social media is fucked, but I still enjoy YouTube. Like, you got to log into it like I do. Every day, I do anyway. There's going to be new perks coming to that. By the way, they unlocked at 10k subscribers, where I can now have like a VIP section where you could subscribe to get certain things. So I was thinking about, putting DVDs that are meant to be on Victim Gear on YouTube, and special live things. I don't know. Think about it, like live chats. Haven't really thought about that yet. That's why it's not there, but it's going to be, which is cool. Okay, Caveman, my side project. I did release 2 singles, and I was hoping to get it out by 2021, but because I paused production over December, slight delays, it's more than likely going to be early 2021, like February at the latest. I was looking at finishing vocals over December, but just family stuff, and you know how it is. At least you got 2 singles. But holy shit, those first 2 singles actually were recorded and ready to release July this year. So those are old songs. They're new to you, but they're old songs. And I've recorded a few songs recently for the new Caveman album. They're fucking crazy. Anyway, there's one more music video that we filmed. That one's coming soon. Oh, the album just sounds absolutely insane. And there's possible touring for that coming mid-2021. Possible. Nothing confirmed. Yeah, let's have a look at Caveman's new clip, and then we'll dive into the interview and get down to business. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Subscribe. You're watching The Train.
I'm rolling. And action.
Tearing to pieces my victims, my posse, a zombie of sort. Stalking the sort. Mindless, not blindless. We hunger for murder, revenge, and then burn ya. I torture, then turn ya. I pick up my axe and continue to slaughter. Visions of bodies, the blood on my shoulder. I can't stop to hold you and bite at your neck. Suck the vein and I drain and I nibble your brain. Grab your rights like a bubble. shovel and pop out the bus. Suck your tits out like jelly and fill up my belly. I won't stop at nothing, my hatred keeps cutting on people that breathe, and I'm dead with no reason, so fucking disturbed. All that I needed is lost and unheard, to know when and nothing that's never occurred. And now that I'm bleeding, my brain will be fading till nothing is left.
Oh God, here.
The Disturbed, a gruesome zombie film for die-hard horror fans.
Your kind are pestilence, spreading death and destruction across the stars. You will be executed. Guilty. 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 Chaos provides.
That was close.
This is a classic close encounter of the seventh kind. There's an extraterrestrial cyborg, and it's casting mind-controlling thrall over everyone.
Are you off your meds?
Soon we will be many. Relaying coordinates.
E.T. phone home. We need to bust ourselves out of here and save the world. We are it. It's Tango.
All right, everybody standing by, and action. Like that.
I'm not ready to perform. Hey, wait a minute. I'm the director here. This is The Drain, episode 3. I can't even remember. I think it's 3 or 4. But I am excited to have special guests here. The director of my music videos and the director of many Australian independent feature films, Daniel Armstrong of Strongman Pictures, live from the, what would you call it, location? Got a name for it?
The garage?
The garage. There's no special name for it. That's cool. I ain't got no special name, but I had a few special names for my places, but I kind of just replaced them with bullshit. This is just the man cave now.
Yeah. Sometimes called the dungeon or the bat cave. Technically, it's the studio.
Studio, yeah. I don't like to call mine a studio. Like I did when I first kind of got a studio microphone, and I started feeling like, I'm going somewhere. But I'm like, nah, this ain't no studio. There's no rigging padded walls or big mixing tables or isolated booths. This is just a man cave, and I make music in it. But I'm proud of it.
I've been in real studios. This is a garage.
Well, anyway, live from the garage and live from the man cave, we are here, episode 3 of The Drain, to talk a little bit with Daniel Armstrong, who is a big part of KidCrusher. We're also going to talk about our projects together, his films. We're going to talk about other films and conundrums and etc. So what's going on in Melbourne, Australia? You're a state over from me. Obviously, COVID's hit that place hard, although I don't want to bore the audience with COVID conundrums as well. So how is it over there at the moment?
It's fairly normal right now. Actually, we're not wearing masks anymore unless you go to the supermarket, and we've been out of lockdown for a couple of months now at least. But like we had most of the year locked inside, wearing masks everywhere. So I spent most of 2020 just sitting here in the man cave with the pause button on life, waiting for everything to return to normal.
I don't think it's ever going to go back to normal, unfortunately. It just seems like this is a new thing, like the flu. It's just a different strain and et cetera, et cetera. But it seems like everyone's panicking and is an option now. Like I see, 1 out of 2 people, one person's panicking, the other person's not. It's like mask, no mask. But it also, like, COVID check-ins are now optional. They're not standing at a freaking... Do you have COVID check-ins there, or is that a thing just here?
At offices, they do. You got to get this thing they stick on your forehead to what's this called, your temperature, to measure your temperature.
Oh no,
you still got to work from home unless you can't. I think they only let about 25% of the people who are meant to work in an office back in an office. So I'm still working from here, this exact seat. So I sit here and work all day, and then I go, time to relax, and I get on the internet here. So I move my chair just over here, so I know I'm on my own time instead of work time.
That's cool, being able to work from home. I mean, that's what I do as well, but I've always been doing that. I mean, any excuse not to leave the house is a great opportunity to just be a homeboy. It sounds gangster as shit, but no, it's just literally I stay home all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, the COVID check-ins here are different. You actually have to scan it with your phone in every shop you go into. It's quite strange.
No, we do that here as well.
You do that. Okay, all right. But yeah, it seems very optional. At first, they were very like standing by the door and making sure you do it, and now everyone's just walking through it. Like they've had enough of doing that for 3 days. Now we're just going to go back and just pretend that wasn't a thing. So yeah, I did, the whole COVID conundrum is more than a conundrum. It's the biggest conundrum.
It sounds very Australian, that whole like, oh yep, okay, we'll do that, and then we do it for a while. Then we go, it's a bit fucking hard, isn't it? Should we just stop? And we just stop. I don't even know.
Like telling everyone to exercise or something, they do it for 3 days and then stop.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Stick with something.
So, Daniel Armstrong, like I say, is a big part of KidCrusher. I'll dive into those projects and I analyze them a lot more. But like when I say he is a big part of KidCrusher, it's like when you see all of my music videos, he's been behind pretty much every single one of those from the start. Like, I made maybe 2 before I met him, but like Meet the Monsters is when KidCrusher started to glow, and that's because of this motherfucker right here. And I can't thank him more than enough for being this. And like the amount of videos we've done together, like coming from Meet the Monsters, The Grinch, Alice in Zombieland, Heavily Medicated, Back to the KidCrusher, In Your Nightmares, I Want to Be a Killer, Sacrifice, 2 Caveman videos, Netfest. I thought this was going to be a short list, but holy shit, we've done heaps together now. It's almost like it used to be, it started off as 1 every couple of years, and then now it started to, we do 2 in 1 visit, then it started, we did 3 in 1 visit the other, not long ago. We do a lot.
There's still at least 2 more to go. 1 more to go. Hang on. 1 more to go.
Yeah.
1 more to go from the last time before COVID. It was the last time you were here and we shot. There's still 1 more to go. And how long ago was Meet the Monsters?
That was 2006. So yeah, it was a long time ago. 14 years ago.
14 years. Jesus. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's longer than I was in school.
Oh, it was a long time ago. We'll dive into each video and have a little talks about each one of those. So everyone stay tuned for that. But first, I want to turn the clocks a little bit back and start about the films that you're doing and also how you got started. So let's just say like, when did you actually first start making films? If you can think that far back, or your influences and early projects, and what was your actual first feature?
The first. Geez, it depends where you want to start. Hang on, there were about 8 questions in one.
Yeah, all right. How you got started with influences, etc.
I can tell you the first time I remember making a film, which was, I don't remember how old I was, but I was a kid, and it was called The Return of Yoda, and it was shot on my parents' little Super 8 camera. Anyone old like me will remember the old Super 8 camera, shot on film. Like you had a little 6-minute Kodak sort of reel of film you stuck in it.
Yeah.
No sound. No way to edit it, so it was all edited in camera, and that was
I remember those cameras.
Yeah, that was great. My parents had one, and you know, you play it back on a projector and everything, very cool. But like I made a film which was all of my He-Man figures fighting all of my Star Wars figures. So I had Castle Grayskull and all my Star Wars figures, and shot it all, you know, edited it all in camera, did little special effects, like stuck a snorkel under the ground so I could make, you know, stormtroopers explode while, you know, fall over and all that kind of stuff. And then afterwards recorded a soundtrack on a cassette tape. So when you played it back on the projector, you had to like go and play and pause and play to get the sound going right. So anyway, that's the first time I ever remember making a film.
Wow.
That would have been, I don't remember how old, but like I was at school, so it wasn't like I was a baby.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint when I started making music either. It's like it was a time before a time.
Yeah, it was ages ago. Like I can't even remember what I did this morning. So like, but anyway, the first feature though, like technically, it depends how you define a feature. Because I think I read one time, may or may not be true, a feature film technically is any over 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I think that's what, I don't know whether that's still the definition. I know most films are now like 3.5 hours long or some shit like that. But like, I think at an IMAX, they'll play a film that's 45 minutes long and call that a feature. So the first 45-minute film I ever made, which was with mates from school, we would have been, I don't know, 20. So we were at university with the school, 18, 19, 20, I don't know how old we were kids. It was called Hood, and it was Robin Hood. Except the Sheriff of Nottingham was the hero, and Hood was like just an idiot. And we went out and camped in the Cathedral Ranges. We actually camped like in tents and crap, and just ran around shooting this 45-minute Robin Hood thing, which was based on Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid for some reason. I'm not sure how that worked, but technically, I think that's the first feature-length film, which would have been like the early '90s.
Yeah,
sometime.
That's cool.
So there you go. It's called Hood. You will not be able to find it anywhere because it's on VHS. So it's sitting on a shelf.
Like it's crazy that you say around the 90s is when you were starting to film those kind of things on VHS, because I think it would have been around 94. I tried to do my own feature films as well. I don't know if I've told you about this, but I filmed them on VHS. I just goofball shit, but like, yeah, no one's gonna be able to see those ones. But that's crazy. It's gone as far as back. So like. When I say your first feature, like that still seems like a playground kind of film. So like when you were doing it, like say professionally, From Parts Unknown would have been that one, yeah.
It's the first real film. Okay, I understand what you're asking.
Not real film. That's a bad word for it. I guess something that you really tried to push professionally to sell. I guess.
It was a switch. Like, yeah, playground film's a good way to put it. So it was just mates and we'd go out and make films. We made a shitload of them, like just films with the VHS and all that. The first time I sort of thought I'll try to make a film that could maybe get seen by somebody, except just us in someone's living room, because that was a premiere back then. It's like, come over to my place, we'll finish the film, and you'd stick the cassette tape in and play it. That would be the premiere. So, yeah, the first kind of film which I went, yeah, it's the one you just said. The first time I made a film where it was like, oh, let's try to get this out to an audience is From Parts Unknown, which is the female wrestling zombie movie thing. That was the first one we shot, but it was the second one we released because I had not a lot of clue what I was doing. I created all these post-production workflow issues. Also at that stage, like there was someone who was going to edit it, but they kind of fell through. So we got into post and I was like, do with all this. Had all sorts of sound problems, all that kind of stuff, and they were really hard to solve. So while I was trying to work out how to solve that, we went out and shot Murderdrome. And because I'd had the experience of going through From Parts Unknown and literally fucking it all up in post, I didn't fuck up Murderdrome in post. So that was shot and completed and released a couple of months before From Parts Unknown was completed and released. So From Parts Unknown was the first feature film we ever made, but Murderdrome was released first, and then From Parts Unknown. So our first film was released second, and our second film was released first.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, it did seem like this is one that I did the musical score for, and it's the first time I've ever scored a film, and it was mind blowing for you to offer that to me. So I'm like, shit, how do I approach this? I remember I spent months just on the first opening scene because I was just having so much fun with it. I wanted to like throw in so much detail in there, and I loved that opening scene. It was so great. And then the rest of the film started to hit me, and I'm like, shit. And you were saying like, when you're done, I'm like, shit, I've just spent like 3 months on the intro. Like, shit, I better speed shit up.
It's I don't know. It's a big job, really. It's 90 minutes or so of music, really, isn't it? It's a lot to write. But I remember you were turned into Danny Elfman. You had all these cinematic, like you got all these orchestral parts and stuff going on, and it was a really big kind of score.
Yeah,
like you were sitting there in your room with crazy hair, like just going all Tim Burton on it. It was but yeah, we literally spent years on that, like in post, just trying to go, how do we make a film, basically. That was
it's like just watching you and being on the set of some of your films as well, and just seeing movies being put together, and also audio, because since I only really know how to do audio production, even then I still feel like I was 5 years behind when I did that. It would even be longer, actually. I wasn't very educated on how to mix and master a score, so that was a mess. On top of what I gave you, you're already in a mess, and I gave you a very distorted and bassy mix, and like I feel like I'm more educated, like you say, on the second run doing Showbag. I reckon on the third run I feel like I would perfect that shit, because I've been listening to movies a lot in headphones lately, because like I'm more of a nocturnal animal now when it comes to nighttime. I'm listening to movies in my headphones, and I can hear how they mix the music in movie. It's always in the right channel or something. It's never in the center, and I've always been mixing in the center, and it's crushing with those. Now, this is probably boring for people to listen to, but I'm sorry. This is like conundrums 101.
It's actually like, it is. It does my head in. It's almost like doing maths, but it's a really, for sound for movies, is you don't mix it the way you mix a song at all. Like,
that's what I was doing. Like I was even taking the dialogue and like boosting everyone in like a rap song. I'm like, yeah, and you're like, no, it's too loud all the time. People, I'm like, no, I can't hear. I actually still to this day will complain that I hate how movies are quiet and then really loud. I don't like that. Like at the cinema, sure, because it's always loud, but like when you're watching at home and shit, it's fucking annoying.
Fun fact for you, part of the reason that happens is because they are mixed for the cinema and they're mixed for like surround sound.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time they do not do another mix for your DVD release, so it's just that surround sound mix mashed down into 2 channels, and that's why often you're turning it down every time the music comes on, then you're turning it back up to hear what the hell they're saying, because it's mixed, played really loud in the cinema. Yeah. So you're meant to do different mixes.
Yeah, exactly. They should. Sometimes they do have that on the Blu-rays and DVDs and etc. But like, I just got a sound bar recently, and like it's still it's fucked for a sound bar. Trying to watch, especially like Blu-rays as well, because they really do push the 5.1. You've got no chance. You're listening to it in surround sound, regardless of whatever the fuck you got. So it's like, listening to surround
you go.
No, it's all good.
Talking over the top of each other.
I was just thinking, streaming a film seems to be better than watching a Blu-ray, in my opinion, because the sounds mix a lot better on streaming. I don't know why. They must update that. I don't know.
I've learned now that don't bother mixing for 5.1, because the film probably gets played in a cinema once when you do your premiere, and the rest of the time it's streaming. So why the hell are you wasting your time doing a 5.1 mix? So we just do a stereo mix now, which means you don't get the big cinema sound when you're in a cinema, but everyone else who actually watches the film gets a good, nice, compressed kind of stereo mix.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I fucking love surround sound. I've got the mixing. My studio monitors are actually surround sound subsystems, and they go all around my room. So like playing a PlayStation game in here, like selected PlayStation games have surround sound. Like playing Grand Theft Auto, it's fucking phenomenal on this surround sound. Like it just bullets fly all around you. It's fucking amazing. But yeah,
we got to be sensible though. When you think about it, like a lot of people are watching it on a freaking phone or you know what I mean? It's like, do we really want to waste a lot of at the end of the day, there's money's involved as well, because you've got to get a studio involved at the last minute, an actual studio, not the garage. So it's like, do we need to waste our time and money, or do we just mix stereo? Really, come on.
This is one of my topics for the movie discussion later on. But since we're on it right now, I decided just to cover it right now. Like, what do you think streaming versus cinema is? How's it going, or what do you think this is the future? Is streaming, and they're going to erase cinema? Not because they have to, because of COVID, but majority of people, especially the new generations, are growing up on streaming, so they don't give a shit about cinema like we do, so to say. It feels like Netflix is trying to push that as a new thing. Like films come out, like say Cloverfield did it uniquely, putting out the one the next day, premiering new films on Netflix. I did like how they did that, but I still miss the cinema things, because to me, seeing a film at a cinema is like seeing a band on stage, loud and crazy. It's in the dark. It feels like you're seeing that movie live. But like seeing it at home is like listening to the band on CD, if that metaphor kind of makes sense. But that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, I reckon. Well, it's been happening for the last 10 years or more, realistically. Like, I don't think cinema's going to disappear, although COVID's going to give cinemas a hard time, and it definitely is in the States. As we can see, they don't know how to release big films anymore and all that kind of stuff. But like, you're right, a cinema experience is bigger and better. So it's kind of like cinemas now only for the big, what you'd call them, your flagship films or your tentpole products or your mothership, like big ass films like Avengers 27 and your Wonder Woman's and a big Christopher Nolan film, whatever. So they're your big ass films, but like everything else seems to be streaming. Like, and it's not just a technical watch at home thing. Like, there's more and more of those freaking TV series like the Boys or whatever, and whatever's replacing Game of Thrones, like the Queen's Gambit, all of that everyone's talking about. So these serialized things, that's streaming right now. I don't know where it leaves the people like me, like doing your own thing. Like recently, like I have been receiving royalty checks from online, like royalty checks, he says, from online platforms over in the States. So from like, I know Amazon Prime and Tubi are making a little bit of money for a couple of the films we've made. And when I say a little bit of money, I do mean a little bit of money, but like that's where people are watching this content. That you're definitely not going to the cinema to see Sheeburg Massacre or From Parts Unknown. That's a streaming kind of area. So like, it's good. It gives us somewhere to find an audience, somewhere to go. But it is nice to see a film in the cinema. But that's your premiere. So we always do a premiere here in Melbourne, way big screen, cast and crew, so it's a very vibed up audience and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a big kind of question. It's definitely all moving towards streaming though, but I don't think cinema will disappear. It'll just be like every film you see in the cinema will be like a $300 million massive production, part of a huge franchise and promoted for an entire year kind of thing, where you'll kind of get the more independent, cool, interesting, different stuff will be appearing on your different streaming platforms. And then the weird sort of cult alternative exploitational stuff, that'll also be streaming platforms, definitely not cinemas. Well, it currently is.
I'm all for like the streaming if it's done right. Like I do think the TV series gets a better like treatment for streaming. Like they should have something different for movies. I like how they did Disney Plus, but they really should have do something like that for all movies. And that's why I'm kind of like canceled all my subscriptions for shit like Netflix and Stan and like say Foxtel as well. Like I'm more diving towards building my own libraries. At first I was doing it with Plex, and that's like you could just have your own like library like Netflix with all your files that you own. But like I'd always have to have my computer switched on. I'm lazy like that. So like I've leaned towards Google Play Movies and Apple iTunes for my movies lately. I'm building my own like sort of library online. This is where you purchase your film for like $10 to $15. You don't own it completely. I mean, they could take it away in a few years, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a big difference actually. You no longer, like I used to collect movies, especially back in the VHS days. You'd buy them and they'd be on the shelf. You'd have shelves full of your VHS tapes. Like you actually own that. If you want to take that and sell it at the secondhand shop, you can. But you don't own your movies anymore. Like if Apple lose the license or sell the license to somebody else, all your Apple movies are like, oh, where are they? Oh, we don't have them anymore. They're not yours anymore. What? I paid for them. Oh, you didn't really.
Yeah. That's one thing that freaked me out when I first started, and I like already bought a couple films, but they're like $10 to $5. So I was like, whatever. And thinking if I get a couple years use, I'm happy. But also I read the fine print is they do refund you if that happens, or compensate you of some shape or form. But like I watch them, like I've got my my comfort films. I don't know what they call it, the films that you rewatch continuously. And Netflix would put a film I like to watch on, and then they'll take it away, so I'd be really pissed off. So like Back to the Future, I like to watch that shit on repeat, but I own several copies, by the way, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS, Laserdisc. I own it on several copies, but I like to stream it because I can't be fucked putting on the player or putting a rewind. So I own the stream. I also now own the 4K version as well. I haven't got to use it yet because I haven't got a 4K player yet, but I
do that too.
Yeah, I've got
the ones.
I was thinking like shit. I've got more than a few comfort films because like I see even TV series like Black Books and Bottom. I repeat watch those like crazy. At nighttime I got wireless headphones. So I like fall asleep with wireless headphones and something playing all the time. It's usually one of those three recently. Then I started collecting more films. It became a habit. This is kind of like happened with my VHS collection, which I do have still a VHS collection I've been building the last few years, Laserdisc, and now I'm collecting digital films. I've got like, I think 60 films in the last few months on digital. I'm like, what am I doing? But like, I believe like, because like the more conundrum there of them removing it is they said this hasn't happened for a title yet, but it could happen. So it's like it may never happen. So I still have faith in Google and Apple with the
I think they're pretty big companies. They probably won't lose it or whatever. But yeah, the truth is you don't own your films anymore.
Yeah. Unless you buy the Blu-rays. I'm collecting 4Ks now as well, but I'm a crazy collector when it comes to films and stuff like that. Like I said, if I like a film, I buy every version of format that there is a Back to the Future and shit like that. If I like something, I'll buy it 100 times.
No, I'm just on every freaking streaming service there is. Like I've been watching Shudder. I watch Tubi, which is free, so that's handy.
Yeah.
Like I got Prime. I dig through that because they have a lot of crazy, really.
Yeah, I was on Prime for a little bit.
Yeah. It's where you got to dig through, and it's like it reminds me of the days when I used to go to the old video store and you go down the $1 for a week section and you just kind of go, well, that cover looks cool. That cover looks cool. And 9 out of 10 of them are terrible, but one of them's gold, and you're like, oh, that's good. That's how I found movies like Evil Dead 2 and freaking Ghoulies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like never heard of them. You just see the cover in the VHS store. You're like, well, I'll give it a go. So Tubi and Prime are a bit like that. Like 99% of what you watch is just terrible when you turn it off after 5 minutes, but every so often you find gold.
Yeah. I miss those days of going into Blockbuster and just like picking the cover. But like most of the time the covers are always so great and the movies were so shit. But
it's cool. That's marketing.
Yeah, spend over $1,000 on that VHS cover and then pay everyone else $1 to act in that film. That's the way I think most of the films are being made these days. Like I don't mind, like they got a crazy like franchise, so to say, like reboots. Like they buy a franchise, say The Craft, and they don't put any good actors in it, and they spend like no money on the CGI or anything, and it's shit.
Well, if I don't want to sound like I'm guilty of doing that, but like all the artwork for my movies, I actually spend a fair bit of money on. A guy called Tom Hodge does all the artwork, and the posters are fucking phenomenal. And they probably, they look a little higher production value than the film. But you got to like it is marketing, and you got to get attention somehow. And the films are fun. Yeah. They're just cheap,
Yeah, no, they're independent films, so that's what you expect from those films. And I think you've done your films really great. And my favorite to this day is still From Parts Unknown. The chemistry between the three main actors. 1, 2, 3. Is there 3 main actors? There's the 2 dudes and the girl, or is there one I'm missing?
Yeah. Well, Jenna Dwyer, who was in one of your music videos, is the lead from Parts Unknown. She was in Your Nightmares. But like, I have a special love for that film too. Like, there's a lot of technical errors and just a lot of stuff I'm sure I could do better now because I was the first time I'd done a whole feature. But I do love it. We did a lot right, and there was tree there. It was like it was was handcrafted and everyone loved it. Like, for sure, it didn't necessarily work out the way we wanted it to because we had trouble working out how to make a film. But we did it in front of everybody, and then we went, well, here it is, enjoy for what it is, and people do. It's around.
It was great.
And
like going into Showbag, it seems like we had a class cast of friends, like how like the Gilmores kind of always put their friends together from Saturday Night Live and etc. But it's such a great group of people that always work together. And same with making the music videos. It seems like an old group of friends getting together to smash some shit. But Showbag came along. I think that was after Murderdrome. Then, if you put that in chronicle order.
Yes, that was straight after. Oh, it was after Murderdrome. It depends whether you're talking actual shooting. So it's like
release.
Murderdrome was released. Then From Parts Unknown was released. We were shooting Showbag while From Parts Unknown was released, and then a little later, Showbag came out. Showbag was the slickest of the productions in terms of like it was a year from the first day we started shooting to the day we premiered. So it was one year and it was all done from start to finish. So by that stage, we'd started to understand a few of the basics. So we weren't making so many we understood a bit more what the workflow was. So it's like, well, don't do it this way, that kind of bullshit. Same with the music, because I think your music came out real fast for that one, if I recall. It was like, here you go, make some music, and then a few months later, I don't know, do you remember? It's all a blur now. It seems so long ago.
I still think it took like 4 to 6 months, but like you were still in the editing stage of that. But like I'm also doing my own shit at the same time. But like it's more or less when you say you need it. That's like even when I do collabs, if people whip my ass, I'll get it finished. Otherwise, if they don't say anything, I don't think they need it yet. So I'll procrastinate on it. But yeah.
Well, I went into Showbag with the intention of taking a year to get it finished. So it was like the day we start shooting, I want to be able to show this film on that day a year later.
Yeah.
So I had every other film, it's been more like we'll get it done when we can because we're all working in our spare time and doing our other stuff. And so I should learn from that and go, well, I should always have a deadline when I start because Nova Star, for instance, the latest one's still not done. COVID came in the middle of that, so I'm not entirely to blame for that myself.
Yeah.
But like I went into that one and went, because I've got a day job and a lot of people have got a day job. So I thought, well, I'll get it done when I can get it done. So that's been dragging on for a couple of years now. It's like, so I got to put a deadline on it. That seems to work well.
Well, you say that you didn't really know exactly what you were doing when you were doing From Parts Unknown, but from my experience working with you guys, like this is talking like years before you started on From Parts Unknown, I think. Like Meet the Monsters, like I went on the set of that thinking it was going to be you and a cameraman, and there was a whole freaking crew and lighting and assistants and all types of shit. You guys like had that shit storyboarded. I remember this is when you used to draw squares on a paper and draw out scenes and shit. That like just my whole mind was blown by the way that whole production of that day went. That was great.
Yeah. We even had walkie-talkies because we were at that abandoned insane asylums. We had people all over the place. So we had walkie-talkies. Just moving the print down a minute. It was all we had like Anthony was there. He was like being the first AD, and we had an art director. We had a cinematographer guy. I think we had an assistant. Justin was there to do some special effects makeup, and I think he had an assistant, if I recall. Like it was pretty big, and we did that big job of makeup on Ephesia. And I think we tried to put these really epic contact lenses on you, but your eyes rejected them, which is fine because your eyes, so they looked all manky anyway. Yeah, that was huge. But yeah. No, it's like video production, like a video or even a short film. Done plenty of short films, even 45-minute films. Just a whole different kettle of fish to trying to get 90 minutes of film done across. Like From Parts Unknown was 45 days worth of shooting over 6 or 7 months or something.
Yeah.
It's a whole different. Just having that, you burn out. You get to a point where you're like, oh, far out, I'm exhausted. But like, a day or two, whatever it is, you kind of just go, and you get a. It's a very team sport making a video, isn't it? There's always a.
I think we nailed that shit. I mean, like from doing that in one day, and now we are able to pull off 3 music videos in one day. Like I don't think anyone else has done that.
The irony is, nowadays, though, it is just one or two of us with a camera. Do you know what I mean? We don't always pull in so many. So we're just, I mean, half the time we rock up with only half an idea, don't we? I don't know. We seem to work it out.
Yeah.
They're working all right.
I hope the viewers don't mistake us for just saying that we're going there and rushing videos, because I think we still kicked ass with what we did in that day.
Yeah, I should clarify. We talk about it heaps up to the day. I have it. We do this, have that. We throw ideas backwards and forwards. You know, we have plans. We work out where we're going to shoot it and what we want to shoot. But I have noticed when we get there on the day, and I guess it's because we do all this preparation, we tend to just we're capable now of winging it, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Just because we're working.
And it works better that way. Like you kept like trying to reassure me on that, and I'm just like thinking, no, I'm freaking out. I want to do it, like, especially for Back to the KidCrusher. I had like a massive dialogue planned and everything. I think we did for Alice as well, and we just like simple works better. It really does. We pick like 3 ideas and run off that.
Yeah. For a music video, yeah. And also, there's just because we can't, especially something like Alice. Alice is a good one, right? Because we had another huge freaking location, and I don't even know how many extras. Like I watched that recently. For some reason, it looks like there's like freaking 50 zombies there. I don't know how we got so many people, but it's like obviously it's not like we can rehearse at the location or with these people. So we just arrive and we're like, this place is huge. There's a million freaking people dressed up as zombies. So whatever plan you had, you just sort of start going with we need to use 50 zombies. So there are 50 zombies in the shot now, right? I don't care what the plan was. There's 50 zombies here. They're in the shot.
Yeah.
And so you go with what's available sometimes.
Yeah.
But that was a day. We ran around. I remember I left you with Brendan.
Yeah.
And you were like, doing the song with Bub and all the zombies on the hospital beds. And I think I was with Rom, and we had a camera each, and we just grabbed like half a dozen zombies and said, all right, we're running over here and doing shit. And we just went out and made crap up. I could hear the playback because it was really loud. You hear the playback going back in the background, you doing the song, and meanwhile we're running around like, okay, so jump out of the kitchen and attack her. And then, and me and Rom are just standing on each other's shoulders trying to get weird-ass shots and stuff. That was a crazy day. But it's a good example of just going with we had a theme, obviously, but then on the day it was just like, well, there's a freaking kitchen here.
Yeah,
we've got a kitchen. There's dead bodies hanging from the roof in this room. Well, that has to be in it. There's dead bodies hanging from the roof already.
Exactly. Well, it's a music video. It's not like we were making a movie and winging a movie. So it's okay for that. And to be honest, the entire Alice project was a winged idea from the get-go, because I remember you called me up and you said, hey, I've got this like massive location full of like bodies and shit. We can get heaps of zombies and we can make it like Alice and Zombie. I think you named it as well. And I'm like thinking, shit, I got to write a song for this. And like it came up to like a week prior to actually shooting, and I hadn't finished it yet. And you're like, can I have the song now? So I got a rough idea. I'm like, shit. And in my opinion, Alice in Zombieland is Meet the Monsters Part 2, because like it's the same kind of lyrics in a way, and it feels like the same kind of video, just more crazy shit going on. It's not an Asylum.
I distinctly remember like the very first conversation we had about making another video where you didn't have a song yet. I think you might have had a song in mind, but I remember you saying, okay, we just got to do something cool, but I definitely do not want to do zombies again. I'm done with zombies. No more zombies. And then a few weeks later, I've got like these 50 zombies. And you're like, oh, well, if you
that's exactly how it happened. Man, every time I pitched you, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want the camera just on my face. Next minute, the camera's on my face. I'm like, man, can we do something different? Zombies in my face. Let's do it. It's fine. I mean, I'm happy to be working with you, man. Like off the bat, working Meet the Monsters, I thought that was it. I'd never work with you again. That was like just my big shot, and you gave me one shot, and I was like, ah. And then like the Grinch came along, and I'm like, holy fuck, we're actually doing another one. And to be honest, Grinch is my most successful music video on YouTube, and it goes viral every Christmas. It went absolutely fucking crazy just this Christmas. And also just talking about on the spot thing, people keep talking about the dancers and how they're not coordinated and etc. And that just kind of brings up the whole we winged it. Those girls didn't even know each other until they got there, and you just pushed them into a corner. I remember saying, just figure something out. They did pretty well for that. Like, I give them props. They're famous now.
That entire video is shot in Anthony's garage.
Yeah.
The whole video. There's not a single shot that's not in his garage. So we were just in a freaking one-car garage.
Yeah. I mean, coming from doing Meet the Monsters with you too, I stroll up and we're to Anthony's house and you're like, yeah, we're shooting in there. I'm like, what? Yeah, all of it's going. We're like, coming from Meet the Monsters. I'm like, where are we No. This is what you do. And I didn't have faith that you'd start. I'm thinking, really? But fuck. The Grinch is dope, man. It is. Like, I don't really like the song that much personally, but like the video is fucking crazy. It's
the character you play. I think that's what makes the video. Like you're just the Grinch. Do you know what I mean? Like the character comes through because it is kind of a crappy looking video. Like it's in a garage. Do you know what I mean? It's not big like Meet the Monsters or Alice, but you put so much personality into that character, or the like jumping down the chimney and just with the beer and shit. It's like, I don't know, it's really watchable. Like I can watch that one over and over. Yeah, that's really enjoyable.
See, like
it's the person.
See, this is where I'm at a conundrum with KidCrusher the last year. I've been thinking about it a lot. Like every year someone says, when's another Grinch video and album coming out? And I keep looking at myself like, what's wrong with KidCrusher? Like, this is the Grinch. Like, do I have to be the Grinch full time now? It's just like, no more KidCrusher. Maybe we should just invest in more Grinch shit. So, like, I'm pitching it to you. I'll write a new Grinch song. Let's do a massive Grinch project, 2021.
Do a Grinch Christmas album in the style of Michael Bublé, except like KidCrush it up or Grinched up.
Oh wow! I got a million ideas for a new Grinch song. I was going to release one like just Christmas past, but I was going to rush it. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to bring the Grinch back, I've got to do a video. So as soon as I got a new song, I'll flick it at you and say, "What's coming to your head?"
If we're gonna do the Grinch again, then we almost have to make a short film like the freaking Dickens Ghost of Christmas, but with the Grinch or something. Like it has to be big, like Alice. Do you know what I mean? Like grab one of these.
This is what the people want. This is what the people want. So we have to do this. I think. So I'm heading back to Melbourne in 2021. So we could. It'd have to be before Christmas, obviously. Maybe we could shoot this in July, August.
Yeah, we got the whole year ahead of us to work it out. That's another thing as well. We're in. For people who don't know, we're not in the same city. We're in different states.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how we managed to get together to make videos. Well, you keep coming down. That's how.
Yeah. Well, literally, I have to jump on a plane or drive 8 hours to do these music videos. But like, it's always worth it. It's not just I have someone to work with. It's the chemistry we have together and the history as well. Now I ain't working with no one else but you. So like, I got to do a video. I got to get in the fucking car and drive.
That's fucking brilliant. I really appreciate that. That's actually really. It's been really good being part of KidCrusher for like 14 years now. And in fact, it's slightly longer than that because we met, I guess, or we first started talking on MySpace, if you remember MySpace. And you wrote a song, well, Meet the Monsters. That's why you Meet the Monsters. It was for a script I've written, which I still haven't made, called The Disturbed. I don't even know how I must have been talking about it on MySpace. And you were like, this sounds really cool. And I sent you the script. And you wrote a song, and the lyrics in Meet the Monsters. A lot of that comes from the script from The Disturbed, which is a film that's never been made. So we should make that film too.
But dude, didn't we just say we're not doing zombies anymore? And here you are pitching a zombie movie to me. Fuck off! No, no, man. I'm all for The Disturbed, man. The Disturbed was a dope idea, and the pitch was great. The what do you call it? Is it a pitch or is it a pilot? What do you call it?
Pilot. Yeah. We did a little pitch video and we did a little fake trailer.
Yeah, fake trailer.
So there was like a video about the film for a bit, and then there was like a 1.5-minute fake trailer, which Anthony is in, who we've mentioned a couple of times. So Anthony like produces with me, and he was integral getting the whole KidCrusher thing started too. A lot of that on that day we've been talking about at the Insane Asylum was organised by him. And of course his garage, he built the giant chair and shit in the Grinch video.
Yeah, Anthony
and the chimney, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's really how I discovered you, was through that. And I when I came across the trailer, I was really mind blown, thinking this movie already was like existed and was taking off. So like it was mind boggling that it hadn't been done yet. And I'm like, well, there's all the more reason to do this, was to help promote the film. And using Meet the Monsters, and Meet the Monsters is like second hand behind the Grinch on views on YouTube. It's got a lot of recognition for that film that never got made.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it can just forever be the film that never got made that we can talk about. But like they were exciting times way back then. So this was even more than 14 years ago, because I'm sure it took at least a year or two before we got around to making the clip. But like, I just remember how cool it was that like you'd written a song for this film that we hadn't even made yet. You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, better get organised making this film. Anyway, it still hasn't happened.
No, man, I'm all about movie soundtracks, man. That's like kind of what got me started making music. So making songs for movies is like what I'm all about. And like it was the first time I've ever written a film for a movie as well, even though it wasn't a real movie yet. But like, and to say, it's bad that it didn't get made, but the fact that you actually have made other films after that, like, it erases that. It's not like you slacked and didn't feel like doing a film. You still went out there and did like a plethora of other shit.
It was through trying to get that happening that From Parts Unknown happened. Like, it was sort of, I was like, you know, I was a bit starry-eyed and I was wanting more money than it was possible to get, and I had no idea how to put together a film when I was trying to get The Disturbed up. And through the course of doing that, it was kind of like I had this other idea, which I'm like, well, we can probably do that ourselves. Let's just do it ourselves. Bang, and away we went.
And it's still basically zombies anyway. Same with She-Borg.
Well, that was cyborgs, technically. No, but I've got a thing for zombies. It actually upsets me. Like 14, 15, 16 years ago was before The Walking Dead was on TV. Like, it's kind of, and, you know, I enjoy The Walking Dead up to a certain point.
Yeah, same.
But like, it sort of ruined zombies in a way.
It did.
You can't do a zombie. You know what I mean? It's like, that whole thing's dead. But it used to be a bit more underground. You know, so it was like kind of it was a cool go-to for a cheap movie, because zombies aren't an expensive monster to do. Well, they weren't. They are now, because it's got to look as good as The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Or World War Z or something. So like, I think that's why I really haven't now done The Disturbed, because it's like, what can I do with zombies? That's, you know, it's not a thing anymore, really.
Well, I have a pitch for you, a film pitch actually. It could, like, because I know we've talked about doing like a KidCrusher movie together, roughly. Like, we just briefly touch bases, because I always thought it'd be cool to kind of pen out a KidCrusher sort of, even like we did like a what do you call it? Like the origins of KidCrusher. We had that rough idea for a short film once ages ago. I don't know if you remember. That was like called The Rise of the Cannibal Clown, I think we're going to call it. But that was just a concept, and we never talked about it again. And then I think just recently when we were doing Netfest, we were talking again about other shit. But then I had an even better idea. On the Drain, episode 1 with Lewis Tripp from The Gate. We mixed together an idea of a potential sequel, third film for The Gate, which Alex Winter failed to do, and I came up with an idea which I thought was great, and I'm like, maybe we can't get the licensing for The Gate, but maybe we could, or give it a different name and then make Louis in it. See, Lois is dead in the second film. Sorry, what?
Call it The Portal.
The Portal.
Call it The Portal.
Yeah.
Or The Door.
And we could like theme it differently and twist it, but it's like Lewis dies in the second film. Spoiler alert. But like, say like the demons actually, my idea was the demons actually successfully took over the world this time, since in the first two they don't actually, you know, fully go through with it. So I'm thinking hell on earth, the demons actually take over the fucking earth, but they don't know how to deal with them. So like resurrect Lewis from the dead. So he's a dead guy, kind of resurrected. I got no further from that, but that was my start of a pitch.
That's enough. That's enough. Hey, you could almost call that Meet the Monsters, and then you could, like, you know, redux the song Meet the Monsters, and then in a way I could chuck in some of the ideas from The Disturbed, and suddenly we're mixing all of it into one, and there we are.
I reckon we could tie like Louis into doing a film, but like whether or not he'd like the idea of us ripping off The Gate or not would be another conundrum.
Yeah. Step away from ripping off The Gate and then just chuck him in it, and then there's some kind of reference to The Gate in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without it being a off of The Gate, maybe. I don't know. Literally think off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's thinking off the top of the head. Like with Sacrifice, I had 100 ideas to do references to the gate, but unfortunately, due to COVID and also lost footage, we lost a fair bit of footage, and the potentially could have done a fair bit more referencing to the gate. There's actually one scene in there from the first film where the worker from the walls like falls and collapses on the floor and bursts into minions. We actually shot that, but we lost the stems of the footage, so it's a scene of me falling onto a gym mat that we couldn't remove. And then we did that take like 3 or 4 times and my face still fucking hurts.
Yeah, so it was a year ago. It was January this year. My hard drive completely shat itself and I lost pretty much everything that wasn't backed up. So I lost most of the footage for Sacrifice, yeah. But I had some of the stuff I'd exported, which was like a test of the shot you're talking about. But like it was one bit of footage semi-transparent on top of the background, so there was nothing I could do with the visual effects. Well, anyway, that was the real. I nearly wanted to like grate my own face off with a cheese grater. I was so upset. You were probably more upset.
A little, yeah. I'm a little bit more upset about the Caveman conundrum as well, because like we had the bass player drive all the way down from Sydney to be in the clip, and he got all his footage got deleted accidentally. And the Caveman clip is basically just me, which I hated as well because I don't like being the center of a video completely. I like other shit going on, but that was the only footage that got saved. But luckily we still had a video out of it, and people still love that video. It's going great at the moment as a first impression for Caveman.
You do see a little bit of, you see some drummer and you see some guitarist, yeah, but there was all of the footage of the bass player completely that died in my hard drive crash as well.
Yeah, shout out to Sarah for driving all the way down from Sydney to not be in a video. I really fucking, if that was me, I'd be gutted. But this shit happened.
We do have footage of him in the other Caveman clip, which isn't done yet.
Yeah.
So he does get in one.
To be released.
To be released. Yeah. So, a year later, it's like, well, you're in this one.
Yeah, shit like this happens, and it's fucked. At least we do have something to show for it, which is great. So you're working on another film, Nova Star, that's coming out. No idea when. It's still in post.
It'll be next year. I shelved it for all of this year. There's like because it's a sci-fi retro 80s style sci-fi. We've shot all the live footage, but like lots of miniature spaceships and crap. Actually, there's probably miniature spaceships sitting around here. There's one over there. It's a bit far. No, it's not. Hang on. Here we go. This is one of the miniature spaceships, the pirate ship. See, it's got a skull head or whatever. So like these all I want to shoot. Well, I could shoot them here, I guess, but like there's one extra big one. It's about the size of a freaking couch that's being made by a dude called Rick, and he was finishing that early this year. Then COVID happened, and he's probably finished it by now, but we never got together because of COVID. And I just sort of put the whole film on the shelf for this year. I went, no, okay, on the shelf. I'm not going to work away in bits and bobs. I'll wait till we can finish it on the shelf. So I'll start again around February and get it finished sometime this year. So we took a year off. It took a year hiatus basically. I thought, no, pause button. On the shelf.
Well, everyone's gone on hiatus because of the shit. I mean, like we shot, like we say, the Caveman stuff around this time last year, and I was hoping to release it in July and already be past this and into the next KidCrusher thing. But yeah, that all fucked up. But yeah, I'm also doing that. I remember I haven't forgotten you asked me to do some song for that. I'm still going to get into that, but some futuristic thing.
Right.
Yeah,
so next year thing sorted.
The
plus side is, because of COVID, I messed around and taught myself a little bit of stop animation. So that's in the next Caveman video.
Yeah, that's still good. I'm looking forward to see what you can do with the Caveman video and that as well. And that's also where we shot the Netfest video where you're sitting as well, for those who didn't recognize it.
Is there? Wait a minute. No, I won't try to turn it around. I've got a million hard drives here.
That's all good. That's
onto the ground.
That's history right there.
It is literally.
That was a crazy day. Like I had to pick up props early in the day. I drove, I think it was 2.5 hours to where I was staying, and I was actually stuck in Melbourne during the COVID shit. So it was what you call it, fate almost, that like I got asked to do that clip, but it was just at the start of the COVID spike. So like I didn't know if you would do it, then you said, let's do it in the garage. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we even brought Rom over. I think we might have. It was at the start of the COVID thing. I can't remember what the rules were, but I think I found a way to justify the fact we weren't breaking the rules.
Yeah.
We all snuck in here and like, you did three or four songs.
Three, yeah.
Which we shot, like, and that took like half the day or whatever, and then we sat there until it must have been at least 3 a.m. or something to use it all because you had to give it to them the next day. So literally sat there till 3 a.m, and then I guess you had to drive like 2 fucking hours back to where you were staying.
Yeah,
that was a pretty big freaking day.
It was a big day. Yeah, I drove 2.5 hours there, filmed all day, edited all night into the early hours, and then drove back in the freezing cold. And I think I got back at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting there. Can I sleep? No, I'm just waiting for them to email me back now. Do you like the fucking video or not?
The sales agent we use for our films, who's based in LA, he saw that somehow because he mentioned it in email. He goes, "Oh, I like the KidCrusher thing," which was interesting.
Wow.
It's neither here nor there, but like somehow or other, our agent in LA saw that performance and weirdly recognized my garage. I guess I've Skyped with him, so he's like, "I recognize that garage."
Yeah. Wow.
And you always promote the fact that it's us, I suppose. So he probably saw that as well.
Yeah, probably seen it through your posting or something. That's cool. Yeah, like there was one little touch that almost happened for that video that I gotta say, like I almost had the Back to the KidCrusher DeLorean for that clip, but because of the COVID thing, he was hesitant to come over. And if you told me what you said, like, because you technically are a business, you would have been able to be essential for him to come there. But like I was like spewing, I would have asked him in advance if he could do that, so we would have had this video start up with me coming up in a DeLorean. That would have been fucking cool. Or leave in that. Be like, right, now let's get the fuck out of this year. Boom.
Yeah. We should get a DeLorean sorted and do more because like we had it in the Back to the KidCrusher, but we didn't really do enough with it. Like it turns up, you step out of it, and then it's hanging around in the background. It's like this is what happens sometimes when you kind of wing it. You get there and you're like, oh shit, we didn't do enough with the DeLorean.
Yeah. I'm a fucking like everyone knows I'm a geek for the Back to the Future. So like just having it there was over the moon for me. But the fact is I didn't really get to see it that much because it was behind me the whole time and I'm performing. And then they're like, yeah, we got to go. So they left. And then I'm like, I didn't even get to sit in it for long.
Yeah, that's true. No, we could have and should have done more. I think I was a bit obsessed with the girls we had on the night. I'm like, we've got to get heaps of footage of these girls. So I wasn't thinking about the DeLorean. I think that's what happened. Yeah, just not. That happens. It happens.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Well, time usually goes pretty fast. You don't realize it as well. Like it was also like raining before we got there, so we were all standing knee deep in mud. So like, if you realize, watch my performance. I'm standing in one spot, trying not to fall over the whole clip.
Shivering the whole time as well. I remember that.
Yeah, everyone was freezing. Yeah,
covered in fake blood and crap. Yeah. That was my birthday too, if you remember, because you guys stopped and sang me happy birthday.
Yeah, midnight on the dot. Yeah, like shit. I think it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're still shooting. Everyone else has called it quits and left. And I'm like, let's do one more take and just drench me in fucking blood. It's still freezing cold. And that's my favorite take of the whole fucking clip. I'm like, just put that in the whole thing. I'm like that as well with you recently. I'm like, every time we shoot now, do the first 3 takes, then delete them, and let's just start from there. Because it's like warm-up.
Something I've definitely learned is whenever a performer, an actor or a musician, if it's a music video, whenever the performer says, can we do one more take, always agree, because it's always the best take.
Yeah.
So advice for any filmmakers out there.
Yeah, we did that.
Never say no. Always, if the actor or the performer says, let's do one more, always say yes.
You got to get into the zone. Like I felt like that in Netfest as well. We filmed In Your Nightmares, got to did Rumors, and I'm like, can we go back and do Nightmares before we do Paint It Black? So we did In Your Nightmares a second time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Conundrums.
That's right. Yeah, because we only had to do 4 freaking clips in one day. So yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, there's another option. Another thing here for people that don't know. We actually, when we shot the In Your Nightmares video, we did another video called I Want to Be a Killer. But to me, that was the warm-up video. We shot like a few hours of that, and I'm like, this video is going to be so fucking awesome. And then we got to In Your Nightmares, and you're like, oh, we'll just sit you in a dark room on a chair and just film that. I'm like, oh, this video is going to suck. And then, like, looking at it, well, I want to be a cat. I didn't like it. I'm like, I don't want to release that one. But In Your Nightmares was fucking awesome. It was just me sitting in a dark room on a fucking chair.
And I had the exact opposite feeling. I couldn't feel the want to be a killer one at all. And that was also one where you said, can you not shoot me from the front the whole time? Which is the angle you KidCrusher from. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, that looks like KidCrusher. So like we were trying all these different angles, and the whole time we were shooting, I was just like, oh, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Don't know how this is going to work. But In Your Nightmares, Rom's just like, oh, we'll sit him on the chair. And I'll just shoot him like this. And immediately I was like, bang, it's done. It's done.
It's done.
There was no drums at all. And that's all just trivia. If you know the video, the house, walking up where you see Jenna, who's from Parts Unknown, where she's walking around the house and she sees the ghost on the TV and all that bollocks, that's where I live.
Yeah.
So that's the house above me here in the garage.
Yeah, that's
just trivia.
Netfest and In Your Nightmares both shot there, and like everyone's asking, when's the third clip going to be in there? I mean, we always shot Sacrifice a little bit there as well, so there is 3
in the backyard. Yes, on the crucifix I have in the backyard, which is just in the backyard. That's from Tarnation. That's from the film Tarnation, but it's stuck into the ground in the backyard, just in case we need to crucify somebody. You never know.
Yeah,
and we had to take you out and crucify you for Sacrifice. So
it worked. I mean, it worked. We didn't really have an idea for Sacrifice on how to make it work, and then we just kind of just went out the backyard and went, "That's there." Okay.
Again, as soon as we got that shot, I was like, "Oh, well, there's the video. Everything else is just window dressing," which is handy because I lost most of the footage. Except for that stuff of you on the cross.
Well, this is Trivia 101 here on the Drain with Strongman Pictures. I hope you learned some things back here. Yeah. Anyway, I'm curious, what would be your personal favorite of the work we've done together?
Favorite music video?
I'm not going to say like, I'd say 2 things. What's your actually favorite video that the finished product, and what's your favorite experience? Give it 2 of those. That'd be interesting for me.
Yeah. Okay. I was actually thinking those 2 things myself. Like my favorite experience is probably Meet the Monsters.
Yeah,
that was the first. That was when I met you. It was an overnight thing. We stayed in an abandoned insane asylum. We had prosthetic makeup going on. We had this huge spooky ass location, and there were ghosts there and shit. It was a crazy night and time, and we were doing so much and running around. That was a really fun experience.
Yeah.
Like probably my favorite actual final product is probably In Your Nightmares. I think that's okay. I think that's the most KidCrusher. I remember actually saying that's KidCrusher, like just you in that dark room with the glitching going on and all that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's with KidCrusher. That's KidCrusher right there.
Yeah.
So I really like how that video turned out. There's a bit of a feel of that in Sacrifice too, when you're on the crucifix. I'm like, that's KidCrusher, but it's hard to like that one because it was because we lost footage and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, so it didn't work out how we wanted. But that shit is great.
That's a great way to say that. Like, his Sacrifice to me too feels like unfinished work, and I find it hard to like it as much as I want to, because Lewis Tripp's in there and everything. But yeah, it's a very rushed video, and even the song to say was a little bit rushed. Although, like, it took me years to put that together. But yeah, fucking going back to Meet the Monsters, like that whole experience was mind blowing. Like I said, when we talked about doing the video, I only expected 2 of you there, like someone filming and you, and just to have the whole crew there. And then you're driving me out into the middle of nowhere, someone I've never really met before besides MySpace. And I'm like, where the fuck are we going? And even to this day, I didn't realize it's like good 2-3 hours out of Melbourne to get to this place. And you get there, and I'm thinking this is just going to be like a small building or anything. It's not. It's on this massive fucking Edward Scissorhands hill, and you're like driving up to it. It is a fucking atmosphere. Like, holy shit. It's cold, it's freaky, it's spooky, and we stayed the fucking night.
We just slept more in there. It was crazy. It was crazy.
And
I remember, in the middle of the night, I think Justin led this charge. there was a moment where just everyone was challenging each other to go for a walk at like 3 a.m. Just go for a walk around the building if you can, because it was so fucking spooky. I think everyone did it, and it was spooky. But yeah,
on most of the occasions I was alone on that night. I was the only one who didn't sleep. I don't know why I couldn't sleep that night, so everyone else was snoring. But anyway, there's one occasion I remember, it specifically was with you. Like, I was sitting out on my own, and I kept hearing this smashing noise, and I came and got you. I'm like, there's someone smashing shit out there or something. And we both went and walked, and there was this fire hydrant thing that just slammed shut right in front of our faces. Remember that? It was like right in front, and there's no fucking wind whatsoever. It was still as shit. This thing slammed in our fucking face, and we're like looking at it like, what?
It was one spooky ass place for sure. Because I think we shot a little bit the next morning too. You in the wheelchair, I think.
Yeah.
Shot that the next morning.
Yeah, I was without any sleep, insomniac. Like I'd never sleep much anyway, so that's nothing to do with the building whatsoever. But I did revisit the Asylum. I drive by it a lot when I'm coming into Melbourne, and stop and pause and look at it. But like, there's one night I was driving home from Melbourne, really late, and stopped by Ararat at about, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning. We got to the gates of the Asylum because they were locked up. We took a photo outside, and there's like orbs all around me. Like, it was one of the most haunting photos I've taken of myself.
You sent me that photo. I remember that.
It's like all the ghosts of that place wanted a selfie with me or something. Like, I remember you.
That place. We have Anthony to thank for getting us access to that place as well. Like his family lives out Ballarat way, but he had. I may be misremembering this, but like, because he kind of grew up around that area, like he knew one of the security guards, who's the guy who kind of we had permission to be in there, but like it was through Anthony knowing this guy who was a security guard there that we got permission to come in free of charge and everything and stay the night. They actually don't do that anymore at all. Not because we messed the place up or anything. They're just we were
the first people to shoot there too, right?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't think anyone else has.
Yeah,
they did. The exterior gets used quite a bit, which they charge heaps of money for, but we got the exterior too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was all very cool.
Yeah, so they do the ghost tours there now as well.
Yeah. It's part university now and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all anyway. We got in there. We shot what we needed to shoot. Like, I mean, we shot in the morgue there, and I remember there were still like toe tags with names on in the morgue and stuff. Like it was pretty cool and creepy. I just remember Anthony when he made this contact saying, "This place has to be in our lives some way." Okay.
The whole morgue aspect of that video was probably the biggest part of the shoot to me, because I get there and I'm laying on the table and I look over and there's the drain, like the blood drain. I'm like, there's probably been 1,000-odd million bodies being cut up on this table I'm laying on right now. And then you say to me, oh yeah, also, how do you feel about being thrown up on? I'm like, what? This is new to me.
See, I'm pretty sure I knew that was going to happen the whole time. It's like, you'll probably just want to get out of here, so you'll say yes. Yeah.
No, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, in the face, I'm like, all right, getting thrown up blood in your face. Are you okay with that, by the way? Because we're already setting that shot up. Like, regardless of you wanting to do it, you're going to do it. I didn't give a shit, but like, I just like was shocked at the point no one mentioned it like the day before or anything. It was just like on the day we're setting this shit. Yeah, so you ready? Stunt cock.
I do remember that. I honestly can't remember whether that was pre-planned or it must have been, because we had blood to put in our mouth to throw up. So yeah, we must have thought of that.
And that was a great shot. Like everyone talks about that. Everyone talks about that shot to me, and it's like it was so hard to lay there with my eyes open, being thrown up blood in my face. Like you can see every shot, I just like squint just as the blood hits me because it went in my eyes every time. But it was great.
Of course.
That whole shot was great. And like like I said, the most iconic part of it was that it was so freezing cold that by the end of the night I looked at my skin and I was like blue. I think I like almost died shooting Meet the Monsters.
It was pretty damn cold, but there are some great shots where you can see the frost coming out of your mouth. I think in that it was a kitchen, I think, that had those big cold, like calling them cauldrons. I guess they were.
Yeah, I was in like sleeping areas. I think I was in or something. It was on like some bed frame thing, I think. Yeah, it was freezing. Way colder than it looks in the video, for sure. That's all I look at when I see that video is I start shivering. Like,
I always forget how uncomfortable it is. Like, because most video shoots, they're either way too hot and you're all dying of sunstroke, or they're freezing cold. They're never a nice, comfortable temperature. It's always uncomfortable. But I always forget.
It's not just videos, it's touring too. Touring's a lot harder because you don't sleep, you don't rest. It's like everything around not performing is fucking torture. I'm not saying I wouldn't go through that for them, because I do every time and I expect it now. So it's fine. Like, but yeah, you're fucking tired, you're sore, you're freezing, you're hot, you're everything. It's everything in the book.
Yeah. But the end result, you just meant to make it look like everything was effortless and easy.
Like I said, Back to the Future, we're standing in a pile of mud and probably no one notices. It's like minus fucking 1 degrees and we're shivering in the fucking rain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, you don't think that's cold at all because, like, yeah, you're ripping your shirt off. I mean, the girls weren't wearing much. We're doing that whole car thing.
Yeah.
In Back to KidCrusher. So they were covered in soapy water and stuff. It's like, it was like 6 degrees or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, are you girls still okay with washing the car in this temperature?
It was cold, and we were outside. You know, we weren't. There wasn't a nice heated room over there. Do you know what I mean? We were outside.
Outside, yeah. And like,
so, like, with the camera, they're just standing over there with a blanket over their head, going, "I'm dying."
Yeah, I think everyone was quite pissed at me about that, especially because there was only cold showers offered for it afterwards. So everyone's jumping in the car like freezing cold or dirty because they skipped the cold shower. I was covered in blood, so I had no choice. I had to rinse off in a cold shower, and it's like, fuck. Yeah, that was a cold night.
We were out in the country again. We were a good hour and a half away from civilization, so it was all around pain, really.
Oh, that's what
okay. I didn't get covered in blood. I was fine.
Well, I would love to shoot Caveman in an actual cave or some kind of frozen scenario. So I'm all for getting frozen and doing some more Caveman shit, ice cold. And then we got to talk about the Grinch probably doing something cold as well. So there's a lot of more cold things to think about in the future.
Yeah, well, a big epic Grinch Christmas scenario, that'd be a great idea. Provided, you know, we can get the Grinch with, I don't know, machine guns and some action going on there.
Definitely. Burn Christmas down, shoot some people and shit. Hell yeah. All right.
It's the Grinch massacring elves and then having a knife fight with Santa or something. I don't know.
I remember we almost had a little person on set for the Naughty List video to the very last minute he canceled. That would have been great if he was in that video too. It would have been the icing, like the little cherry on top of the cake.
He's contacted me recently, so he's keen to get involved in stuff, so we could probably talk him into the next one.
Hopefully he shows up to that one.
You never know. He's flaky little bit. That was probably racist. I'm sorry.
All right. Before we wrap up, I'll talk a little bit of just movies in general. What are your top all-time favorite films?
Oh, crap. It changes all the time. Honestly, I was having this discussion with somebody recently. It's kind of like whatever movie I'm watching and enjoying, I tend to call my favorite. But I always say Star Wars because it's the first movie I ever remember seeing in a cinema. My parents took me to the drive-in. I always say Blade Runner because I love it. I always say Ghostbusters because I love it. I always say Evil Dead. All three of them, really, but probably Army of Darkness is the one I remember number most.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? There's just a lot. I'm going to say Die Hard because I just watched it because it's Christmas. But, you know, I could find another 5, really. But Star Wars, I always put. There's partly nostalgia involved in that, just because it is the first movie I remember seeing, but also just made me love freaking that kind of sci-fi, like the spaceships and laser swords, fantasy kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, Star Wars is great. But yeah, it's great to have nostalgia to a film. Like, that's how I am with Back to the Future. It's the first film I remember falling in love with, so that's why I love it so much. But yeah, I actually didn't really get into Star Wars when I first seen it. It was more my brother was into it than I was. I tried to. I like the idea of it, and I remember like just being really in awe of the packaging of the VHS and everything. And I've still got that one, actually, the gold packaging with Darth Vader on it. I was just really excited to watch. I was really excited to watch it, but I think I got more into Kylo Ren in the reboots, which is weird to say. I know most people aren't, but yeah, I'm more into the new generation of Star Wars.
I was just that perfect age to be the Star Wars generation. You know, I was like, I would have been 9 or 10 years old when I saw it. So just the perfect age for it to hit the imagination. Do you know what I mean? Star Wars is like that. If you're around my age, Star Wars will kind of be your favorite film if you're into that sort of film, just because of that age you were when you first saw it. Yeah. So, but Back to the Future could easily be my top 5 as well.
Yeah. What about top 5 horror films? I'll give you that.
Top 5 horror. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. That's a definite one. I'm going to call Alien a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because it's more horror than sci-fi. I'd put Halloween in there because it's a classic. Yeah. Like, again, you need to be a bit older to really get how classic it is because the whole slasher thing has been done so much, but it was kind of like, it was the OG or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a really tight kind of film.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't mean the remake they made recently because that's awful.
What was that one? Sorry, it skipped when you said it.
The Thing. Yeah. The Thing. John Carpenter.
You didn't like the remake?
I enjoyed the remake.
The prequel, anyway.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but didn't like it. Does that make sense? I did that a lot with films. Yeah. It's like I enjoyed that, but I didn't think it was a good film. But the original Thing, amazing, and American Werewolf in London, which has got a lot of comedy in it as an adult. But when I was a kid and I saw it, and oddly enough, I saw it sort of the same night I first saw The Thing. But that's quite a scary film when you're a kid. So that'd be my top 5.
No, I get you. I did like the prequel thing. I did see the original one first, but I briefly, vaguely remembered it, and my mate brought me to the prequel, and I fucking went home and rewatched it, and how they connect is beautifully done. I got to give them props for that. And also they got the Cloverfield chick as the lead, so I love that even more. And what was the other one you said after The Thing? You said, what was your fifth one?
There was American Werewolf.
Yeah, I was going to say I actually seen the Paris Werewolf one first. And what did you think of that one?
I haven't seen it. Shit. I only know it exists. I can think of the poster, so I should see it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I love that one. I loved it more obviously because I seen that one first, but it's also got that dude. He was in a lot of films back then. Have you seen Dead Man on Campus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's the lead in that one. I fucking love Dead Man on Campus as well. Trying to remember any other films he's in, but he was doing heaps of films around that era as well. So like I was always watching his films, so that made me like it too. But yeah, cue it up tonight if you're not too tired. Fucking, it's awesome. It's great. You'll love it.
I've just been rewatching Twin Peaks on my TV, which is right here. But I might give that a rest. I'm up to like episode 5, so I might give that a rest. Try out.
Give it a rest. Take my. Have I ever failed you with a recommendation yet? No.
I did watch The Gate, which I hadn't seen. You know, it was very cool.
That's old though. It's a very old horror, so it's hard to really get into it. And like you appreciate older horror films, so it's okay. But
well, I don't have a problem with the older look and it is because I am a bit older probably, but like I've got very high tolerance for that old fashioned kind of look.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me so much.
Yeah, it's just most people I recommend The Gate to. They go, it's slow. Like and especially the first Gate, you got to really skip into the halfway to get really into the meat of the film, and it's fucking crazy. And like I love the sequel as well. Everyone hates that, but and that was the only film from my childhood that scared the shit out of me. That's why I love it so much. But other horror films I got to give it to is Jeepers Creepers. Like I've grown to appreciate how freaking awesome it is more. Rewatching it recently, but do you agree? Yeah. You like that one?
No, I like Jeepers Creepers. I watched that this year during lockdown. That was, as everyone did. I binged a lot of old films. Yeah. Stuck my VPN on. Got US Netflix. I hope no one's listening, so I could watch their cult movie section and all that. Grabbed a few of the old classics, which is why Halloween was on my mind because I watched that this Halloween.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers. The second one's pretty good too, but the third's kind of weird. But I also love. What's that?
I only seen number 1.
Yeah, number 2.
I only seen the first one.
Number 2 is not too bad as well. Event Horizon. What do you think of that one? That's another one of my top 5.
actually love Event Horizon. That's a rewatchable one. I've seen that a good number of times. That's a pretty cool film.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Then Tremors. I loved 1 and 2, and yeah.
I recently binged all of Tremors in 1 weekend. I would agree 1 and 2 are definitely the best, but like quite enjoyed most of the rest of them. Yeah. And have you watched any of the TV series of Tremors? Because if you haven't, don't.
Yeah, no, that's too half-assed. So they really half-assed everything after 3. I reckon 3's okay, but from there, I don't recommend it. They released a recent one just a few months ago, which was a better attempt at it.
Yeah.
But I still think it was meh. But the ending was great. But I think adding Napoleon Dynamite to it was a mistake, because I thought he was going to be his old goofy self, but him trying to be serious was so bad to watch. Like I'm like, he should have just been his goofy self. It would have been a lot better.
True, it's distracting, isn't it? But I agree with you. Shrieker Island, they made a proper effort.
Yeah.
They weren't half-assing it. It wasn't as good as Tremors.
No.
1, 2, but it was the best they've done for a long time. So it was a good send off. It feels like a send off.
Yeah, it was a good send off. Yeah, I still wish that they went through with the TV series reboot with Kevin Bacon. Like that trailer looks decent enough. I mean, it still looks like it would have been half-assed, but it was entertaining because they were going to bring back Fred Ward as well, and I thought that would be great to get them both back.
It would be. Anyway, that's Tremors is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, you got to take the good with the bad with these things. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'd watch another Tremors movie if they made it, even if it was clearly,
Same, but even when I was watching the start of the new Tremors, I'm looking at Bert and I'm thinking he's got to retire soon. And then I've seen it coming at the end. I'm like, don't do it, Bert. No, he did. Bye, Bert. Spoiler.
It's not that new. It's been around a few months.
I got emotional at the end of that film. I'm like, yeah, he stuck through to the end, and I'm like, good on you, Bert. Like it was a train wreck, but good on you.
I got emotional. I'm not afraid to admit it. I was like, oh, I'm feeling something.
Yeah.
I'm feeling something. And they kicked in a pretty good song right there too. That always helps. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing that since I think that was the first one was 1990 or 89. I can't remember, but like that's a long time to be making those films. So like he's really kicked ass for that long.
Yeah. And there's a Back to the Future connection if you go via family ties. Anyway.
Man, there's so many Back to the Future conundrums I've been thinking about lately. It's just been really... I rewatch it that many times that it's really fucking with me. Like, everyone knows the whole Doc backing out of his truck from the first film. Like, the DeLorean doors open that way. He couldn't get into the car, that truck. So he technically drove his car into there, waited for Marty to show up on his skateboard just so he could reverse and get out the car. Like, oh, Marty. Did you see what I did there? That's one conundrum. Also, this other one I just picked up the other day, right? So this timeline, Marty hasn't told Doc that he's created DeLorean. So he doesn't even know that time travel is actually real yet. But he drags Marty in front of the DeLorean, like ripping at him at 88 miles an hour. And he's like, if this works, awesome. But if it doesn't work, you just killed yourself and Marty. Like, they were going to commit suicide if that didn't work. Like, it's flattened. That was like, if that didn't work... If that was just a dream, Doc, that you created time travel, you just killed your mother. That fucked my head. All right, I got to give it one more conundrum. All right, the number 3. I love number 3 the most. I rewatch it the most. I don't know why. I just do. It's just a relaxing film to watch it. No. So the whole conundrum is they've got no gas in the DeLorean, so they're trying to figure out a way to push it up. But Doc has just got there in another DeLorean that he just buried, right? So there's technically 2 DeLoreans there. Why don't they just go take the gas from the one that Doc has just buried? Because that one will reappear in the future and they can fill that one full of gas when gas exists. So this whole time they're trying to fuck around. Like, this is shit you shouldn't think of, but I do.
This is the whole problem with any kind of time travel plot.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't they go back in time and set it up like in Bill and Ted? It's like, that's the problem with every time travel plot. It's like, well, hang on. Let's just, when we get the chance, go back in time and sort this out before it happens. You can do that with every time travel. Anyway.
You create there's one Bill and Ted conundrum there that I brought up to the director. He was doing an AMA, like Ask Me Anything thing, and like I pitched it to him. He didn't even fucking answer it because he couldn't answer it. Like it's so at the first film, right? They have to finish that test, or there's no band, and Ted's gonna go to Alaska. There'll be no band. So in the original timeline, there's no future people, there's no band. So Ted originally was already, they were going to fail, he was going to go to Alaska. So how was there already a band in the future?
Sometimes you just have to ignore these things because the movie
I can't. It's like, because the future guys are there like, we've got to go back, their split is inevitable. Well, how have they heard the band if the band was going to split up originally anyway?
But the movie has to happen. The movie has to happen. So at some point you have to go, no, okay, stop. The movie has to happen. This needs to happen. It's like that freaking, this is a Michael Bay quote. It's related but totally different. The movie where they send the oil drillers up to blow up an asteroid. And I forget what it's called.
Armageddon.
Armageddon. I'd like, what's his face? Ben Affleck asked Michael Bay, he's like, wouldn't it be easier to teach astronauts how to drill than it would be to teach drillers how to be astronauts? And Michael Bay's response was, shut the fuck up. Sometimes you just have to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Is it really that hard to be an astronaut though? I don't know. I guess it is. It's probably right. They're probably right. I did read that one recently. Ben Affleck was pissed about that, but that one doesn't bother me as much. The time traveling does. But yeah, I love Armageddon. I fucking love it. I got to see it when it came out at the cinema, and like I'll give that one love forever.
I like a lot of movies.
I like too many movies. See, the people probably tune into the drain, expect me to talk about KidCrusher, but I'm talking about Back to the Future all fucking day.
We didn't talk about KidCrusher at all.
This is the conundrum episode. I've got too much conundrum going on in my brain. It's my favorite word, conundrum.
KidCrusher comes from all sorts of places. Part of it is your fucking love of movies. Do you know what I mean?
It totally does. That and wrestling. Like wrestling really drove me into music. Well, movies first, then wrestling drove me into Insane Clown Posse, which maybe start KidCrusher. So props to wrestling for that.
I mean, I love wrestling too. That's why From Parts Unknown exists as well. Which we do. Next time, let's talk about wrestling. Anyway.
I actually am doing a wrestling podcast next month. Australia Day episode, I'm bringing back and showing some wrestling things. I'm doing a title match. The belt hasn't been defended since 2005. How we are defending that is a predicament that I'm going to announce, because we're really doing social distancing. So how are we going to do this? I will announce that on the episode, how we are doing that. Live title match on the drain next month, January, Australia Day edition. Tune in.
You heard it here first, if you stay this long.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us on the drain and talk some shit. I wish you all the best with Nova Star and all your things, etc. And I look forward to meeting up again and making some more movie magic.
All right, rock on, man. I'll see you
so much, buddy.